If you're looking for a quick and also inexpensive way to transform your whole entire kitchen, then this video is definitely for you. Hi everyone, my name is Shannon and I want to welcome you here to my channel, The Daily DIYer. I also want to thank Beautifully Responsible Flooring for sponsoring today's video. Paint is an amazing option when it comes to getting the biggest bang for your buck. We had some old, outdated cabinets that definitely needed a makeover. Paint was the most cost-effective and affordable option for us. So I'm going to take you through the whole process of how we transformed our whole kitchen in one weekend with some paint and some new hardware. I learned a lot of things along the way and throughout this process, so I'm going to share some of my own tips and tricks with you. And make sure to stay tuned to the very end as I'm going to show you the huge before and after. So let's go ahead and start there. I'm going to show you the before. So we're going to go way back to what this kitchen looked like several years ago. We have already done a little bit of work to it to bring it up to more of a modern look. And the very first thing was to paint those orangey yellow countertops. They were in great shape, but they were just outdated. So a little bit of paint went a long way in this process. Same with these cabinets that I'll show you soon. We gave it a faux marble finish, and I have a full tutorial on how you can get this look too, and I'll make sure to link that video up in the iCards. Similarly, we also wanted to update the backsplash in a simple way, so we also painted those, and again, I will put that video up in the iCards. You can check that out next. Those two things alone made a huge difference to this space. And here's what it looked like after those updates, and you can see the cabinets don't look so bad from far away, but when you get close up, you can see how dirty they are. They're scratched and damaged. Unfortunately, the previous owners did paint these cabinets, but they did not use the correct kind of paint. We believe it was just basically some type of acrylic paint, so you can see lots of scratches. We also had mismatched hardware that needed to be addressed. So in comes new paint and new hardware, and it's going to completely transform this space, just like paint did for our countertops and our backsplash. So the very first thing we need to do is prep our cabinets. This is just as important as actually painting your cabinets, making sure the surfaces are ready for paint. So you're gonna go ahead and remove all of the hardware off of your doors and drawers, and then a few of the supplies you're gonna need are some deglosser, a scouring pad, paintbrush, a dry clean cloth, and some gloves. I'll make sure to link a lot of the products I'm gonna use down in the description box. But basically what you want to do is take that deglosser and paint it onto your surface, working in small sections, and then let it sit for 30 seconds to about a minute before using your scouring pad all over, and then wiping it clean with that dry cloth, and you can see how much gunk comes off of your surfaces. I also decided that these drawer fronts, they had knobs on them. I wanted to change them into more of handles. So what we're gonna do is spackle those holes, because then it's gonna become a nice clean surface after we paint them, and we can change out the hardware. So you'll put your spackle on, let it sit and dry, and then use a sanding block to sand them all smooth. And now we can go ahead and take the doors off of the cabinet boxes. It's just easier to do the deglossing process while they're still hanging up there. I also removed all of the hinges, and then a little tip is to use some painter's tape to mark the backs of your cabinet doors along with the cabinet box that they match up with, and put numbers on both so they match. And when we come back in to reassemble, we don't have to play a guessing game. Now let's talk about our paint. So I'm using an all-in-one paint, which means it has a base coat and a top coat all built in one, so we don't need a bunch of different kinds of paints. I also have this sponge, which you can see fits right on top of this can, and I will make sure to link the products that I'm using down in the description box below. This paint I definitely would recommend. It's worked out good for us so far, but I wanted to show you the technique of adding this very first coat of paint. This one is not going to be pretty, and don't get discouraged because obviously going from black to white, we're going to need several coats. And so the first coat is not going to look great. We're basically just putting this paint on to create a base layer. So don't worry if it doesn't look nice. We're adding a generous amount using that sponge to glide it over the top. You do want to make sure it's pretty even, though you don't want any big clumps or spots because you will see that in the end. And now for the doors, I have these all laid out outside, raised up so they're not flat on those surfaces, and also in the warm sun so that they can bake and cure a little bit more quickly for our paint to dry. And then you can see our doors are pretty old. They're probably several decades old. Our house itself is over 100 years old, but there's lots of pieced together parts and grooves down in there. I actually really love them. They're unique, and I like that they have the history that goes along with the house. And this sponge did a great job at getting down into those nooks and crannies, and it goes pretty quickly as you just kind of slop on this very first coat. And here's what it looks like after that very first coat of paint. And I did let these sit and dry for about an hour in between coats, which actually worked out really good because then I was able to move inside the house and start working on those cabinet boxes. I used a combination of a brush and the sponge here to kind of keep the mess at a minimum. I also used some painter's tape to tape off the backsplash and the walls and the appliances, anywhere I didn't want any paint getting kind of squished over where it shouldn't be. Just want to keep that paint on the cabinets. And again, here is what it looks like after that very first coat of paint. And obviously it's not looking great yet, but don't panic. This is just the very start. We still have 2 or 3 more coats to go depending on your paint. And that was good because by the time I was done with that, I was able to move right back outside and put that second coat of paint on those doors. Now, these next coats are going to be very important. You want to take your time with this, and it's not a fast process, but it's not a slow process either. You're going to do a combination of a paintbrush and a paint roller. You'll actually paint on your paint a little bit thicker and then take a dry foam roller over that. And what that does is it will actually blend out those paintbrush strokes and give you a nice smooth finish. And this is just a look at the inside using the same technique, brushing on a generous amount of paint and then coming and going back over it with that dry foam roller. I'll make sure to link both of these that I use down in the description box below. So after 2 coats, you can see we have a much better finish happening, but after 3 coats, we finally have the finish we were going for, which was a solid white paint. And after that was completely dry, I was able to add on my new hardware. We purchased brand new hinges so they would all match, and also the same knobs for all of the cabinets except for the drawers. We ended up putting drawer pulls on those instead of knobs. We also ended up purchasing and installing a new Lazy Susan as our other one was broken and it just didn't even turn anymore. So that was a nice little addition and fix, something we needed to do. But we did install the original door back onto the front of it, just updated it with the new hardware. And here is a money and time saving tip I thought I would throw in here too. Instead of buying new hanging lights that went over our counters, we ended up just reusing what we had and altering it. So the tops of ours had these metal feathers on them. We just cut those off and replaced the glass globe. That just updated it, gave it a more streamlined look, and it only was about a $30 update versus having to rewire, pull down, and reinstall something more expensive. We did, however, purchase this brand new light. I'll link it down below too. We just had a basic ceiling fan in there before, and now we have a little bit more of an updated look. Now stay tuned because I'll do a big final reveal at the end here shortly, but let's talk about these floors first. You can see we basically had a subfloor with some peel and stick tile on them. They had definitely reached the end of their life. They'd probably been down for over 10 years. They were chipping and coming unglued, and they weren't the most cute looking either. So finally, it's time to update those. There are a lot of factors that come into play when choosing a flooring, and Beautifully Responsible is dedicated to conserving precious natural resources. Mohawk is one of the mindful manufacturers behind Beautifully Responsible. Using a brand like Mohawk, you are reducing waste while still receiving incredible nature-inspired flooring. Once their products are installed in your home or commercial space, they stand up to wear and tear for ages without showing their age, which reduces the waste associated with replacing damaged or worn floors. These products are not just beautifully made, but also beautifully responsible. With mindful manufacturing, they are creating a sustainable product that reduces energy, water, and waste to meet sustainability goals. Well-being starts inside with carefully curated products designed with health in mind. Resilient flooring offers a cleaner and healthier interior environment. The rigid core products, like we used in this kitchen makeover, meet Assure certified standards for indoor quality, performance, and durability, and are free of heavy metals. So yes, even I got involved with the installation process. This was a first for me, so I wanted to learn how and give it a try. But I will have to say my wonderful and amazing husband is the one who pretty well installed the majority of these floors all by himself. So this is definitely a project do-it-yourselfers can handle. I also wanted to show you our living room, whereas now we're going to have a seamless flow of the same flooring going from the living room into the kitchen. And my favorite parts about this flooring is that they're made for everyday life. They will stand the test of time and stresses of everyday life, including waterproof and water-resistant options for those common spills. They provide advanced scratch protection and resistance for life's harshest stains, and exceptional performance under heavy traffic, which is what we have going from the living room into the kitchen. This is the perfect choice for active pets in your home. It's easy to remove messes, odors, and pet hair, and it's easy to clean and maintain. I'll make sure to link Beautifully Responsible and the exact flooring we used down in the description box below. And now with all of the flooring completely installed, we were able to come in and add the trim around the baseboards and cabinets, and that's what really completely finishes off this space. Then for the fun part, adding all of the special extra little touches and accessories. And now for the big moment everyone has been waiting for, the big reveal. But of course, I have to go back and show you the before and now the after. This space doesn't even look like it's in the same house. It looks completely different, and it is such a miracle what paint can do. Now, obviously, new floors is a pretty big undertaking and investment, but if you do it yourself, you can still do it for a reasonable amount, and it adds such value to your home. And as you can see, it kind of saved us from also having to install brand new cabinets, as they also made the cabinets look much more new than they are, aside from, of course, the new paint and hardwares we added to them. But it just really made a streamlined look within this space, and it just all flows nicely together. They are super easy to keep clean, and also, like I said earlier, are pet and kid friendly. So would I recommend painting your kitchen cabinets? Absolutely. This is a huge budget-friendly way to completely transform a space for a fraction of the cost versus completely remodeling it. So paint your cabinets, paint your countertops, paint your backsplashes, add some new hardware, and you too can go from something that might be outdated to one that looks brand new. And I also wanted to throw in there the living room transformation with the new flooring. Our old floors, we wished we could have refinished, but unfortunately they were beyond repair. They were the original 100-plus-year-old hardwood flooring, and unfortunately they were so damaged and so deteriorated that they were just turning to sawdust. So we were able to install a subfloor in here and install that new flooring on top of it, and it just makes this space flow from one room into the other seamlessly, and it really just takes the space from old and outdated to looking brand new, even in our 100-plus-year-old home. If you have any questions at all about this process, you can leave those down in the comments below for me. You can also follow at Responsible Floors on YouTube, Instagram, and Pinterest. I will link those down below. I'll also have a playlist popping up on your screen that you can click over to next if you enjoy room makeovers and home renovations as we continue to update our 100-plus-year-old home. Subscribe if you are new, and I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. I will see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.